do a full service on a couple of my tractors because, well, they were all over 50 hours, and it was that or buy a new one. Can't really afford a new one. How are we doing here? Yeah, nothing new there. But we're mowing faster than we're hoeing. That's interesting. So we started hoeing first. Well, I suppose this field is smaller than this one. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Oh, leave the mouse still long enough. And we are at the top. Don't judder between them, please. There we go. Okay, so I think as far as the stream goes today, we'll get... it doesn't look like it's going to take us too long to get the mowing done. So we'll get this finished. We'll get the money back. I won't drive the tractors back to the farm on camera. We'll just finish it all up, get paid, see how much money we have. And as I said, obviously, sometime in October I must do some mowing of our fields, which I may or may not do as something that happens while I'm working. So I can just leave workers doing it. Although the baling has to be done by me. So depending on how much free time I have this week. Obviously this week is going to be a lot freer than this past week, where I didn't have any time at all, any time of the day. But yeah, next week I'm going to have my evenings back. So, might do a thing. Then just get the bales baled up, or the grass baled up. Get the sheep's fed, and maybe chew our way through the winter months, or at least part of them. So next week we might get into, let's sell some sorghum or something. Anyway. Certainly working as we're almost halfway. Hoeing, not so much. Oh, what's that weather? Well, it's gonna get cloudy in a few hours. I don't think I got a weather station on this map. It does have, yeah, the game effect is the weather prediction will be more accurate. I think longer out, so you can, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain, and it'll tell you earlier and be more precise. Weather. So we're looking at sunshine till lunchtime, and then cloudy afternoon, and then rain at midnight, and sun at 4 o'clock in the morning in September. Not sure that's a thing, but okay. sometimes worth keeping an eye on the weather, especially if you're planning to make hay. Although that's more of a realism thing, it's not a weather thing for Farm Sim 25. Back when we used to have realismus seasons, yeah, if you cut the grass would decay over time regardless of where you put it, unless you put it into a silo where it just disappears. But you can't put it in a hayloft, you would have to put it in a multi-grain silo, kind of like Old Stream Farm had. Or if it's fermenting, it's covered over either with bale wrap or with a cover in a silo, in which case it didn't decay. But otherwise, grass left in a field would decay, grass left in a shed would decay, it would just decay all the time. Hay would not decay unless it rained, and when it rained, it would decay, which made feeding your animals a little bit interesting, because you could go into a shed, grab a bale of hay on your forks, and as you drove along you could watch the hay mass disappear. So you could start off with a 4,000 litre bale and drive across the courtyard and be left with a 3,850 litre bale because you were out in the rain for too long before you stuck it into an animal pen or into a food mixer. So I quickly learned that the best way to mix TMR when you're playing with seasons in Farm Sim 17, 19 was to make sure that make sure that you put the silage in first, because silage didn't decay when it was raining, and then you can throw the hay in, you can throw the straw in, and they wouldn't decay. But if you put a hay bale in a mixing wagon and then ran off to find some silage to scoop up, which usually involved drop the spiky thing for the hay bale and go and pick up a shovel to scoop up silage out of the silage bunker, you would come back and half your straw or half your hay was gone. Which was a little unfortunate. So, but it was a little bit more realistic. It also meant that if you left hay on the field, it would decay, but it would also go back to grass if it wasn't baled. Bales would decay, but loose hay would actually go back into wet grass eventually, the longer you left it out. So you needed to watch the weather and make sure that all of the hay was picked up and off the field before the rain starts, because otherwise you would lose vast portions of it, and that would be considered a bad thing if you're trying to feed animals that get hungry. Alrighty, back down here and engage. So 62% done. I did like Realismus's seasons back in, I think it was 17, 19. But then for 22 we got into Giants, decided, I'm guessing a lot of people played with seasons. And I'm guessing what ended up happening was Giants just said so many people download this mod and play with it that it's probably a good idea to add it to the game native. So yeah, we kind of got Seasons Light. It doesn't, you don't have to ted the grass twice, or condition the grass and ted it. On your real farm or in the game? I know even with the 3 fields this farm has, I have way more grass product than my sheep will eat. So I end up wrapping it and selling it because nothing better to do with it. Yes. Yeah, I started with 20 sheep. I now have 60 sheep, so they seem to be eating my grass a little bit quicker, and I haven't looked at them today. Okay, we're down to 3,200 litres of grass. I might be... It's only September 3. We should still have over 2,500 by October. So, game-wise, I do believe we should be able to survive until... Oh, okay. We'll do this row. Survive until we cut the grass in October and top off the trough for winter, because October is going to be our last cut of the year, so I want to make sure that's quite a lot full, which means we won't make a lot of money off silage at the end of this year. Might get some done. Bales are about 3,500 litres, because we're only doing small bales using the fast bale. Is really the first time I've used the fast baler on a playthrough. So I tried it out and kind of got rid of it because, to be honest, it can be annoying when you're using a triple mower with a wide windrower. It just can't keep up, so it slows the tractor down to 1 mile an hour. So that it can pick up enough grass to make a bale in the time it takes to wrap the bale that just went through. So, although I do have the enhanced round baler mod, which means that what I could do is... okay, let's go down this one. I could load a round baler and or a round bale wrapper, which can make bigger bales, because that slows you down or stops you while it's transferring bales and dropping bales, which is fine. The big problem I have with at least with round balers is if I'm not paying attention, I'm talking, I'm reading what's on the chat, I do not stop in time to drop the bales. Which then means doing a loop of shame to go back and get the windrows I missed because I wasn't paying enough attention. And the Vicon fast bale doesn't have that problem. but it only works when I'm using a mower this side and a windrower this size, or small harvesters for the straw. Once you get to sort of 26-foot headers or 40-foot headers, that windrow for the straw is more than the fast bale can cope with. Okay. So basically where I have to drive on the grass here, when I have to drive on the cut grass here, I am making sure I do that downhill so we can keep the speed up. Good. And the hoe, I think the hoe's stopped. We go have a look at the hoe. Oh look, the hoe stopped. There's a thing in the way. This is going to be almost impossible to line up because I can't see what we're hoeing. Yeah, and that I have noticed for Farm Sim 25 you kind of need that. No, you're done there. Go forwards. Seriously. Okay, how's this? I have no idea what this person's doing now. Have a look at the field, see how it's going. Hotspots. Oh, hang on. Fertilizer. Turn the fertilizer off. See, there's not even any weeds on this field. There's nothing here. So, we're just getting paid to drive backwards and forwards with a hoe. I'm not complaining. I'll take the money. But it does mean doing the contract manually is nigh on impossible because it's going to tell you, yeah, like in our case, oh, you're 27% done. Yes, but which 27%? Can I just drive around the field randomly and it's just going to add 1% for every minute I drive around the field? It sure is not finding anything to remove. So do downhill rows here. Then we'll do that one we missed because I blew it. I'm also not a big fan of wrapping bales as a task. Again, because you have to do it yourself. See, in the past, I've generally, at least for my own field, for my own fields and contracts, I'd form a mowing train. I would have a fairly large tractor with hopefully rowing mowers. I would then get... Dude, where are you going? I'd then get a baler on follow me and a wrapper on follow me. And so I didn't have to do all those tasks. That was fine. If I needed to make hay, I would get the big mower. I wouldn't row the grass as it came out the back. I'd then run the tedder over it, I'd run the windrower over it, they'd all be on follow me with the baler at the back. And I could, I didn't have to worry about stopping and starting the baler. Sometimes I had to keep an eye on the speed that the the mower was going, because if it went too fast for the baler to cope with, then we'd end up losing the baler on follow me, and it would just come to a stop saying it couldn't find where it was supposed to be going. But mowing train was a thing I did ever since Farm Sim 17. Just 3 or 4. Oh, goodness me. Forwards and go. Yeah, just having a bunch of tractors on follow me doing all the work, and you could do it with a contract as well, just everything, and then you'd run around with a bale collector, just snap up the bales and take them off to the side of the field or take them to the contract delivery point. But here you can't bale and wrap. So the only way to do a baling or a wrapping contract is to buy a wrapper. And then the other problem with that is you yeah, the other problem with doing that is now you have to do it manually. There's no option anymore. And we can do that, yes. That. Views submit report, block this user, say goodbye to my block. Oh, cotton contracts. Yeah, I have never done a cotton contract. I mean, the thing is, well, oh no, that's good. I have the GPS. Oh, I have the guidance steering on stop when you get to the end of the row. Otherwise, we would have been in the trees and sorts of problems. Anyway. Take care of the scammers. I will now have 2 emails from Twitch support saying, thank you for your report. We have taken action on this person. But anyway, so yeah, I've never harvested cotton. I think I did set up a game to use, to do a cotton farm, and then unfortunately I never really got the game up and running, or the game save up and running, because other things came up. But I'd sort of had the idea to do it. As I said, I just never did. So I got, at the time I had the season pass, which gave us the John Deere cotton harvester stuff, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's nice. Never used it once. But since I play mostly UK maps or occasional European maps, cotton isn't much of a thing in Europe. So I tend not to use it because I tend to try and stick to realistic crops for the area that I'm playing in. Now this map I think is somewhere in England, so it's completely agnostic in its location. Whereas with Oxygen David's maps, his is based in a real location, sometimes absolutely and sometimes conceptually. And so when that happens, I'm going to take what's actually harvested there. So when I did law folds, I avoided doing things like corn initially, because corn isn't a thing in Scotland. It's not a particularly friendly environment for corn. However, towards the end of my time playing on law folds, I did find out that 2 Scottish farms had a special, I'm going to say breed of corn. That's probably the wrong word, but they had a special breed of corn that was designed to grow in Scotland and was intended as animal feed. And since I needed silage to feed my cows, I decided, okay, I am one of those farms. So yes, planted corn, but sugar beets and potatoes, popular. And I think for the most part, when I was playing Scottish farm, my primary arable crop was actually barley, because distilleries like barley. So, it was just sort of 50% of my fields are going to be planted with barley, and then I'm going to have wheat and sugar beets and other, less populous crops. Like I said, cotton, not something I really do. And our last game was, end of Farm Sim 22. We were playing Maypole Farm? No, that was the first one. Glenleithen, which was a Scottish map. And I could have grown red beets, onions, parsnips, except because I was playing with precision farming, it didn't play well with those root crops or vegetables. So I never actually got round to growing those crops, in spite of the fact, as a Scottish farm, it's something you would consider growing. But when it comes to those sorts of crops, I tend to prefer sugar beets because they're just easier. You can work them with tractor stuff. Although the red beets, we now have a harvester for red beets, onions and parsnips, because I bought one to do a contract. Did I buy one to do a contract? I might have bought a field with them in. Then just decided, you know what? Might as well just plant them. Is my hoe stopped? Yes, my hoe is stopped. Oh look, exactly the same place as last time. Sometimes you need courseplay, because courseplay sees these things and drives around them. Giants, not so much. And that's another thing. I haven't done much in the way of horses either. Because they're a lot of hard work for... I find they're a lot of hard work for what you get out of them. However, I did, when Mrs. Osa and I were playing some Swedish map, I bought a very small thing